What's up, agents? Jetforth here, and in today's wonderful video, we are going to go over the BTSU gloves with a finely toothed comb, where to get them, what they do, what they can't do, and some tips and tricks, and featuring Scuba Thief! Hit that like button, everybody! Oh my god, I'm dumb. So, buckle up and strap on them tactical flaps and let's get to getting, shall we? First things first, how do we get the BTSU gloves? Well, the main farm for them right now is Camp White Oaks, and this is completely up to how good or how bad your RNG is, if they drop or not. Now, some of the first releases of how to get these were kind of wrong. They said that this is the only place that you can get them, and that is very untrue. In fact, you can play any invaded mission. Obviously, the harder the difficulty, the higher chances you have for them to drop for you. So if you do not have the season pass, you can still get them. You just have to play the regular invaded missions. Now, after filtering through all of the comments on Reddit and on the Division Discord and on my channel and other channels of how they drop, you will get them from the boss or from medics. Trash mob medics can drop them. I don't know what the odds of that is, but they can drop them. Just keep your eye out, and hopefully I wish you the best of luck. Because unfortunately for me, I actually have not had them drop for me. The only reason why I have them is because my Canadian brother from another mother dropped them for me. But in all honesty though, Camp White Oaks is the best farm for them, because there are generally a lot of medics in there, and also the final boss, spoiler alert, is a medic. And I also believe that Jefferson Trade Center's boss is also a medic. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is. So if you don't have the season pass and don't have Camp White Oaks yet, Jefferson Trade Center would probably be your best bet, in my opinion anyways. On to the first talent, Elemental Gadgetry. Skills that apply a status effect gain plus 50% status effect duration and plus 50% skill haste. Now, this absolutely does not work on any of the pulse skills at all. It just doesn't. The ones that will are the incinerator turret. It does drop down the cooldown, and it does bring up the burn duration. Now, this isn't something that happens in-game while you're doing it. It's automatically applied to it. So if you take your gloves off and put on something else, you will see the cooldown and the burn duration change. So honestly, for me, I got kind of confused by them, like, why on earth isn't this working? Well, that's why. It automatically applies it once you put the gloves on. It also works for the Firestarter chem launcher and for the Riot Foam chem launcher, as well as the Blinder Firefly. So those are the only ones that it works on. Nothing really else. That's it for that. Scuba Steve! Did you hit the like button yet? Next up, we have Energy Infusion. Whenever you apply a status effect, your gloves become infused with that effect for 60 seconds. While infused, you gain plus 10% skill damage, plus 10% skill healing and repair, and plus 10% skill duration for each yellow battery or utility you have. Applying the same status effect while infused does not refresh the infusion. Now, if we take a look at my build that I have right now, you can see that I have 11 utility, which means that I am putting out an extra 110% skill damage while I'm infused, plus 10% skill healing and repair, which I really haven't messed around with, but I would imagine with this, you can come up with a pretty insane healer build. And then the plus 10% skill duration is going to go to 110%, which skill duration is Personally, I'd rather see the status effect duration as opposed to skill duration. So this does affect how long your turret sits out and how long your pulse ball sits out and stuff like that, but it does not affect any of the status affecting stuff. But in my opinion, it's kind of pointless, seeing as how turrets and all that stuff sit out for 300 seconds now, so I don't know. It's almost kind of useless, in my opinion. Anyways, now the applying the same status effect while infused does not refresh the infusion. Just means that if you throw a grenade with bleed damage and you already hit somebody with bleed damage, it's not going to refresh the 60 seconds in the middle of it. That's it. So basically, for the full 60 seconds, you have to wait for that little icon to wind down underneath your health bar before you can activate the talent again. Once it's done, there's no cooldown on it. You can do it over and over again. But if you do switch the status effect, it does reset it. Shh. Scuba Steve! And one of the biggest tips that I can get you, if you do make a build like mine where it's just turret and seekers and you're not putting out status affecting skills, to activate this over and over again, all you have to do is find one of those wonderful elemental ammo boxes and load your sidearm with it. And all you have to do is shoot an NPC once, you get the talent going, use it until it's gone, and then pull your sidearm back out and shoot them again. You can make it through an entire mission with 30 rounds because you only have to get that one shot to get this activated. The skills that do activate this are the Fire Starter Chem Launcher, the Riot Foam Launcher, the Blinder Firefly, and the Incinerator Turret. These will all activate this talent, and all your specialist grenades. Now, the Pulse does not work with this anymore. It did in the PTS, it wasn't supposed to, so no Pulse on this. Pulse is pretty much the odd man out when it comes to these gloves, unfortunately. And finally, we have charged proxies. Whenever you throw a skill 1.25 seconds after landing, it creates an explosion, applying the infused status effect to all enemies within 6 meters. Enemies affected by the infused status effect take 50% more damage from your skill. And this is pretty simple. So if you set somebody on fire, you are now infused with fire. And then when you throw out your turret or your seeker or anything that hits the ground, this does actually work with the little pulse ball. It will set out that status effect within a 6-meter radius of whatever you just threw. Now you got to be careful with this because it will blow you up. So if you're like me and you use a turret and you generally put it up at a high point or next to you so nobody can get behind you, you're gonna hurt yourself, trust me. And enemies affected by the infused status effect take 50% more damage. So basically if you throw your turret at them and they are status affected and your turret starts hitting them, it does 50% more damage. Same thing with the Seeker Mind and so on and so forth. So that's really relatively simple. Now I have had some comments saying that it's not working, and I have ran into issues too as well where sometimes this talent doesn't activate, but more often than not it does definitely work. So it's pretty simple, and that's it for the gloves. To answer the question of are these worth the grind, yeah, these are definitely worth the grind, especially if you want to run any sort of a skill build, anything. I highly recommend getting out there and trying to get them. I mean, they're very overpowered, which it's an exotic, so they very well should be. I did just get a comment from somebody saying that the Merciless activates it, and I definitely tested it and it doesn't, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. The Merciless is explosive damage, it's not bleed damage, anything else, so not sure where that came from. And yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully this is a lot better than the other BTSU gloves review deal, what they do, that I put out. I know I got a little bit heated in it, and sometimes stuff in this game just frustrates me. I had people say that I was just being a clickbait rant channel, and I'm not. I'm sure most of you guys know that I'm not. It's just I'm very passionate about this game. I hold the Division very near and dear to my heart. The Division 1 and Destiny and stuff. I had some really life-altering things happen to me, and basically these games saved my life. So when I get really heated over something, it's just because I care. I want it to succeed. I want it to be a great game, and that's really it. So yeah. Anyways, I'll try and calm down and not put too many more rant videos out like that if people don't like them or whatever. It is what it is. But anyways, I'll leave a comment in the comment section down below about all of this stuff, if this video helped or cleared up anything, or if you have anything else you want to say about them. Let me know. I am interested. But anyways, if you could, like good old Scuba Steve said, hit the old like button, subscribe, and all that other junk, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace!